Hello everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, June 14th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at SEOroundtable.com over the past week. I'm trying a new setup. I don't have an external mic. I'm using a new type of camera, so it might take a little bit of time to get to work right, but it should be better quality. We'll see. Let me give it a try, let me know your thoughts, and I probably will need an external microphone. Not exactly sure, but hopefully you guys can see everything okay. It's more direct. I'm kind of out of the way, so you don't have to look at me, which is a positive. Anyway, first up, the June core algorithm update, core update, which started rolling out on June 3rd, finished rolling out on June 8th, which was this past Saturday. If you look at it, and you can see over here on the screen, this is when the June core, the blue line here is when the June core update started rolling out. Whereas the diversity update, which we covered last week, rolled out during the same exact time. Supposedly it was 10% here, rolled up a little bit more, and 100% for the diversity update here. So it's kind of a little bit hard for you to figure out what update hit what. But again, the diversity update was about, all right, if you have number 1 rankings or number 2 rankings, you'll still have it, but you just won't have, listing 4, 5, 6, and 7 as well. So that's kind of important to understand, and so forth. So just keep that in mind. So that's when it finished rolling out. Google said in the future they probably will go ahead and pre-announce future Google core updates. I think the reason is because they rather control the naming of it. Instead of us naming them Florida, Fred, Medic, or whatever, they could actually just name it whatever they want. And in this case, they're naming it the June 2019 core update. And Danny Sullivan said, we'll probably will go ahead and pre-announce stuff in the future related to the Google core update. This morning, John Mueller did a hangout, and he was asked, why can't you tell us how we can fix our websites? Some of our websites get hit bad, like 20% drops, 50% drops. Some got 80%, 90% drops in traffic just because of this Google update. Tell us something that we could do to fix this Google update. And John Mueller said, well, there's nothing specific. It's not like the speed update where we say, a speed update's out there, improve your speed. There's a lot of little things he said, and in that, he probably spoke about this for like probably 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, for exactly how long. But at the 26 mark, in this, which I actually transcribed, he mentioned 3 things, or more than that, specifically. One he said was, does the site look outdated? Do people not recognize your authors on your website? Do the author photos, are they real photos of the authors, or are they stock images? He also mentioned the Panda post from Mitsugal back in when Panda launched in like 2000. Let's just click on that. This is from this Panda post over here, which was from 2011. So these are all things about, is the site trustworthy? Could you trust the content on the site? Does it look like a good site? Do the authors look to appear right? So definitely take a look at this. I transcribed it if you don't want to watch it, but it's very interesting to hear him say this. In addition, he also said Google may go ahead and actually write another blog post similar to the one that Amit Segal wrote back in 2011 around how you can actually make your website better so that these core updates maybe trust it more and so forth. So we'll see. It's very interesting to hear John Mueller talk about this. Yesterday, Google started pushing out their new search bar design. So now on desktop, if you do a search, you'll get more of an icon look. So see here, it says, we showed this about 3 months ago. Google started testing this, and now it's fully rolled out. You see these icons next to the text of the search verticals, Google News, images, video, etc. And they show these little icons next to them, which is cute. Google started testing this a few months ago. It's actually something they had back in 2011 or so. They got rid of it pretty quickly, but it now is fully live, so that's good to know. Another interesting thing that I actually missed from a couple of years ago was that a former Googler who worked on Google Search as an engineer, specifically working on algorithms, posted in Reddit back in, I'm not sure, I don't know, back in 2006, this guy named Kevin Lacker. He worked for Google from January 2005 for the next 5 years after that, till 2009. He actually spoke with him, he worked under him. And he was asked, he was trying to figure out how to make the algorithm better. And Amit told him basically, why don't you just go ahead and try square rooting stuff or try things. Yes, smoothing was important, he said, with the square rooting stuff, but he said that Amit basically told him that you should just try things. You don't have to overcomplicate things. So a lot of trial and error, it seemed like, went into the Google algorithm, or continues to go into the Google algorithm to improve it, which is interesting to see. A lot of programmers do program it by trial and error, but the Google algorithm might be a lot of trial and error, which is fine. It's very interesting. Again, very fascinating. Google said the mobile-first indexing goes by root domain, not by subdomain, including your subdomains. So if you have www.domain.com and that moves over, if you also had blog.domain.com or forum.domain.com or whatever, that also would move over with this. So that keep in mind, that's something that people might not know. There also, when Google launched FAQ schema about a month ago, some people have implemented it, and from what we're seeing is that there's a huge drop-off in traffic from Google search after you implement it. This is a chart from Lily Ray, one of her clients or whatever. You see implemented FAQ schema here. While the impressions may have increased, the overall traffic has slowly dropped to Google specific to that update, which is very interesting. Well, that might be okay because FAQs, according to a lot of people, is like people calling for free support, free help, stuff that you can answer directly without having to make a phone call or cost the company money. But if you do want the traffic from the FAQs, you definitely want to think about if you want to implement it or not. The cool thing is you can implement it and then remove it if it's not doing what you want it to do for you. Google announced that Google Search Console's overview report for the search traffic report and the discovery report now shows you 90 days by default in this bar here. It used to be past 28 days, you can see here, and now it's showing you the full 90 days of data right here to see how much search results traffic versus discover traffic. Not everybody has discover traffic, only really like news-related websites have discover traffic, so keep that in mind. People are seeing a sudden spike in Search Console errors. So if you log into Google Search Console errors, you might see a lot of errors reported there, as well as a spike in Google My Business suspensions for fake virtual offices, and people are pretty happy about that, which is good. Google's cracking down on those. Bing announced this week that they're now allowing for batch URL submission within their Webmaster Tools API. So some history, Bing says now you can submit 10,000 URLs per day. That's still true. Then Bing released a Webmaster Tools API to submit your URLs automatically. Bing wants you to push them content. They don't want to crawl the web anymore. That's we discussed this numerous times. They will continue to crawl the web, but they really want to make it more efficient by having you guys push content to them. So they built this Webmaster Tools API and increased the limit to 10,000 URLs per day. But there's also a limit on the API requests. So now you can actually submit 500 URLs in a single API request using the batch URL submission tool, which kind of makes it even more efficient to submit URLs if you're a large site and so forth. So definitely take a look at that if you do produce a lot of content, or if you're launching a brand new site and you want to get that content into Bing really quickly. Google is proposing a new feature for WordPress where they're actually building an XML sitemaps by default, the core of WordPress. This is actually being worked on by a Googler named Pascal Birchler. He actually just started working at Google fairly recently in January. Since then, before that, he actually was working at WordPress as an engineer since 2014. Google, Yoast, and even Bing are all behind this, including WordPress. So this can actually build in, you're not going to need a third-party tool to create XML sitemaps on WordPress at one point, which is great. Google said maybe now you can actually use Tag Manager going forward for using things like putting schema in there or different SEO experiments. Previously, John Mueller said in December 2017 not to use Tag Manager. It could they said avoid using it. The tools don't test for it and so forth. But now John Mueller saying basically try it, see what happens. It's not gonna, that might not hurt you, it might actually benefit you. So try it. It might be an easier way for you to manage your SEO experiments and your schema. Google's testing, or actually launched, Top Stories, a full coverage button. So here's a screenshot of it. If you look over here, it's full coverage. And in this, Google's kind of promoting more diverse sets of coverage of news items and Twitter and videos related to that story. It doesn't seem to be like what Google announced at Google I/O. Maybe Google changed it a bit. I'm not sure. I'm trying to find out from Google what's going on here. But that button definitely is new. Google released their SEO Mythbusting video again, a new one on web performance and usability. So definitely take a look at that. It was released this week. I have a post about it as well. Google's Local Finder is testing a choose area feature. So if it's not exactly sure which area you're in, but it knows in the general region you're in, it would actually go ahead and say, choose your area. You click on it, and Google will then give you select which area you're in. It's just a way for Google to help figure out where you are if they can't figure out where you are, which is pretty interesting. This is pretty cute. In the Google Help docs, Google updated one of the docs to actually put a joke in there. Here's that joke. Keep your site up to date, and then a list of jokes specifically about a specific type of food that people used to eat prior to 1925, and you don't want to go ahead and serve that stuff. So that's pretty cute. Nice to see them Google doing that. Google officially launched their Google Webmaster Conference website, which they're going to be doing lots and lots of events across the world. They've specifically launched in India and also Indonesia, and they're going to be launching more across the web. And it's pretty interesting, so definitely take a look at that if you do want to go to a Google Webmaster Conference. It's free, and I guess Google's trying to help webmasters around the world, not just those that could actually afford conferences. And finally, this is something I'm going to try. This is why I got this new camera. I'm going to try to do my own vlog for the Search Engine Roundtable. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it, maybe searching the Roundtable files. I'm not exactly sure. Feel free to give me advice on that. But the purpose is for me to either travel to you to come to my office, meet somewhere in between. Maybe when I travel to different conferences and so forth, I can meet up with you guys, and we can talk about a specific topic. Maybe it's technical SEO, maybe it's JavaScript, maybe it's ad strategies, maybe it's about negative SEO, maybe it's about penalties, algorithms. We can talk about a specific topic for less than 10 minutes, and I'll interview you, and we'll kind of make it an engaging conversation where we can actually get, all right, this is what Google's saying, this is what I covered on the Search Engine Roundtable. How, in your experience, has that actually translated to success? Do you agree with what Google's saying? Do you not? Let's talk about examples. And it might be a little bit fun to do this. So I'm going to try this out hopefully in the next few weeks. Definitely, if you want to partake in this, you guys are watching the video, I have a form on this page over here, or just go to seroundtable.com/vlog. It will take you to this form. Fill it out. You don't have to be in New York. But I am about 45 minutes away from New York City. I could drive there, we can meet in between, and we could definitely go ahead and do this vlog together. It should be pretty interesting, pretty fun. I hope it works out very well. It's going to be an experiment, and we'll give it a try. In any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. Again, I hope you like this new format. We'll see if it works well or not. I might need an external mic. I might need more lighting. I might need to move the camera in different locations. I could do multiple cameras, who knows? But definitely keep the feedback coming, and I'll try to make it better and better, and definitely try to fill out that form for the vlog. No matter where you are in the world, just put in the information, and hopefully one day I'll be able to interview you. It might be fun, and looks like it'll be exciting. And everybody, have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.